Alrighty guys, we're back for Rotation Proof Lizards, and this is a Final Fantasy Standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the decks, then hop right into some ranked. Now I'm not going to take the time to read a lot of these lizards, because they've been around for a little while, but also we do see quite a few of them, don't we? We have all 4 Hired Claws packed in, helping us poke the opponent's face is going to be essential. Similar concept with Iridescent Vinelasher. Don't overlook the offspring cost. It does come in handy way more often than you would think. We have all 4 Gevs also helping us poke the opponent's face, right? Even though it's a legendary creature, it's an all-star in lizards. We do not mind all 4 of these. We have 4 Viashino Pyromancer also helping us poke the opponent's face with a little bit of a harder poke this time, or potentially poking a planeswalker too. We have some value lizards packed in with all 4 Flamecache Gecko, as well as a top end of all 4 Thought-Stalker Warlock, potentially helping us clean some important things out of the opponent's hand, like a board wipe or something. And also here on the top end, a couple Laughing Jasper Flint too. How about some removal packed in? We have a couple Strategic Betrayals. This can be your spot removal of choice. Just note that you might want a little bit of graveyard hate too, right? That's what Strategic Betrayal is doing in here. Burst Lightning also acting as a bit of spot removal, I suppose, but also one that can hit the opponent's face too. How about a new card for Rakdos Lizards? Summon Brynhildr. 2 mana, 2/1 for the first chapter of this saga. Exile the top card of your library. During any turn you put a lore counter on this saga, you may play that card. Cool. For the next 2 chapters, when you next cast a creature spell this turn, it gains haste until end of turn. That's pretty awesome because none of our lizards actually have haste in here, and that's not the only way to give the lizards haste. Of course, over here in the mana base, we have a couple Rockface Village. Beautiful. Also helping us poke the opponent's face, we have a Lindblum in here too, hopefully not slowing us down too much when it does come out as a tapped land. Speaking of tapped land, we have 3 Fabled Passages, actually working beautifully with the Vinelasher landfall ability, right? We have 3 Cavern of Souls, way more often than not, calling Lizard. We have 27 lizards in here, guys. So yeah, 3 Cavern of Souls ought to be pretty good, and then we're actually opting for the Blazemire Verge as a 4 of. So one big thing with making rotation-proof lizards is we're losing a lot of the Rakdos fast land. So hopefully this mana base is fine, because, you know, with some of these casting costs, it might be pretty greedy, actually. Over here in the honorable mentions, I'm keeping my eye on Dark Confidant for aggro builds, right? I think Dark Confidant could have easily made the cut in here over something like the Brynhildr as a great way to see more off the top. Feels super weird not playing with Thrill Seeker, but it's just, it didn't make the cut this time. And if I went the Thrill Seeker route, I probably would have went the Flamecaller route too. So that could be a whole different way to put lizards together. That could actually be pretty cool. Also, Mudflat Village probably deserves an honorable mention, right? Okay, guys, I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, see how we do. We'll see if we can get right into that first game. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? Okay, I think it's going to be pretty good, but I am terrified of life gain. So we'll see, we'll see. Honestly, Screaming Nemesis probably should have made the cut as an honorable mention, right? Opponent goes first. Yeah, this is totally fine. We can easily top deck more lizards. 25 more lizards in the build, first of all. All right, well, we should probably pop the Chocobo, but oh, we don't have an untapped red source. And we won't next turn to you. Okay, then we might as well call Lizard on Cavern and establish Hired Claw. Yeah, if the Verge tapped for a red source initially, then Burst Lightning onto the Chocobo before it got out of hand. More importantly, too, though, probably keeping Burst Lightning open to pop the Tifa when it comes down on turn 2. Well, at least it's a normal forest. It could have been a Fabled Passage, getting the Chocobo out of the range of Burst Lightning. There's the Tifa. Okay, that's a lot of mana. That's enough mana for now. So what we could do here is to get the red source. Right, I'd love to be able to deck then, but yeah, to get the red source, we can establish the Verge. We can swing with Hired Claw. Strategic Betrayal, they definitely exile the Chocobo. So I want to Burst Lightning the Tifa before it gets out of hand. I have a great double block here too, but they might not. Yeah, we need damage to ping through, then we can play the Gecko for the red source. Nice, we do get it through. We're wasting a mana here, but yeah, I'm going to stick to it because they definitely keep the Tifa around, and that's the one that we don't want them to keep around. All right, nice. Cool stuff. Gecko acting as mana fixing here. Yeah, we have so much mana, but if we would have skipped Hired Claw on turn 1, then we could have still played Verge and Swamp and had the red source from the Verge. Okay, Evolving Wilds. Very scary stuff from the opponent, guys. The weaker Chocobo is definitely what they sacrifice to the Betrayal, which is a problem. If we see more mana off the top, then we're in serious trouble. Down to 17. Burst Lightning isn't bad, but we'll have to wait to kick it to try to take out a Chocobo, and then at that point, it's probably going to be above the 4 damage. So Fabled Passage can grab a mountain, and then that's the deck thinning that I've been waiting for, right? And we still have Strategic Betrayal for the turn then. But we could keep both of them open if they do play another Tifa from hand, which they probably would have played that turn. Okay, I'll hold off and hope that we don't. Yeah. Maybe they actually accept this trade, or maybe they try to block. We can Burst Lightning. They probably don't. Okay, I'll start with the swing just in case. Because cleaning up both Chocobos could be really good for us. That's a tough decision, though, because that's our last lizard on the board, too. So, also, I suppose we have Hired Claw ability, but yeah, that's also takes a red source, right? So we need more red sources on the board in this game for sure. Opponent's thinking about the block, which is understandable, especially when we have 4 cards open here. 3 mana on the board. It could be one of those fancy pants lizard deck lists that have, there's that one lizard card that boosts a lizard, gives it lifelink and everything. I don't remember what it's called right now, though. Either way, if they go for the block, we will drop the Burst Lightning on the Chocobo here. It's a trade, and then we go Strategic Betrayal to take out the other Chocobo, hopefully balancing it out for a little while. But we know that there's probably 2 more Chocobos in there, as well as 3 more Tifas likely too. I'm sorry, guys. I should have paused the recording here until the opponent showed up. I just ended up talking through all the timers, which happens sometimes. All right, looks like the opponent's going to let the Hired Claw go through by letting the timers run down. But honestly, we got to give him the benefit of the doubt for sure, because there has been a lot of freezing lately. We'll see if they... Oh! Okay, they really aren't here. Okay, well, yeah, we'll keep Burst Lightning open. And yeah, we'll go ahead, pause right now, see if the opponent actually arrives. All right, at the end of their last timer here. Okay, it passes back to us. I'm going to be patient with the Burst Lightning, especially since, they could still arrive here. Go Fabled Passage, grab the mountain. Yeah, I bet they froze, right? Get the Gev down and be pretty happy about it. I guess go for the swing. Yeah, it doesn't feel like the opponent's here. And again, I will continue to pause. All right, unfortunately, the opponent has left the building. View battlefield real quick. You know, it sucks that this has to be the first game. I'm tempted to put it up as just a sample hand instead of game 1. We'll see what I end up doing, though. There's actually still some important things that we showcased here, right? Number 1, we had a very small flood at the beginning, but then we drew pretty well after the fact. something like Brynhildr after a flood would be really, really nice. That would probably be one of the most ideal top decks at that point in the game, right? Outside of that, some other things that we showcase too is Burst Lightning might have a hard time against deck lists that are growing their creatures consistently, which of course we already knew that, but it's important for our lizards to be able to get some damage through too. So all that's something to consider, where maybe in the final thoughts we consider dropping 2 Burst Lightning just for more basic removal, right? Maybe like Shoot the Sheriff or something. Could also be decent in here. But it's like I said too, Strategic Betrayal can be your removal of choice. I find it important to be able to pick up graveyards. Wow, the double Fabled Passage making this very slow, but I'm going to give it a shot. Yeah, why not? Push the deck list to its limits, and technically with 2 Fabled Passage, we have all the mana we need, right? Alright, let's grab the Black Source for the Vinelasher. Flamecache Gecko is actually pretty good here. So even though it's a slow start, we should be fine and dandy, honestly. Especially being able to push the 2 through with the Vinelasher right away, since the Fabled Passage does that for us. Okay, 1-drop creature. No 1-drop. It's good news, because it could have been a Llanowar Elves, and that's significant ramp. But I guess they would have had Llanowar Elves on their first turn then, probably. Oh, nice. Wow. Okay. Right. So, Flamecache Gecko into Thought-Stalker Warlock, pick up some of their removal, is really good, right? See what they got here. Yuna, Herd Heirloom, Bahamut. Oh, I know. We'll get the Bahamut in their grave. No, this Strategic Betrayal should be really good. I suppose we take the Herd Heirloom, because double Yuna, I mean, they'll just play the other Yuna, and both Yunas are going to be pretty hard for this deck list to pick up, except for the first Strategic Betrayal. They'll have 2 turns in a row with Yuna, which I'm not too concerned about, because we're going to exile their grave too once they get the Bahamut into the grave. I don't know. I don't know. I just like taking out the ramp. They'll still have the 5th mana next turn, though. Okay, they do find some removal. Unfortunately, that's what we would have picked up if they didn't top deck that, or if they already had that in hand, is what I mean to say there. So Summon Brynhildr is excellent. Right, so I suppose we start with the swing, get the second Thought-Stalker down, and get rid of one of those Yunas. See, at that point too, see, I could have started with the unit. Maybe I could have taken both of them out. I still plan on Strategic Betrayal, though, so. Alright, got to do it in the right order. You got to start by dealing damage. That way you can select the card off the Thought-Stalker. Yeah, hopefully they miss removal. That was a good top deck for them, for sure. A little bit of life gain, too. Yeah, unfortunately, they didn't have time to get the Bahamut in the grave, but it's still very much worthwhile to just go for the Strategic Betrayal here. Get the Yuna off the board while we can. Yeah, because that's 2 Yunas gone, and they might struggle if they don't find the 3rd. And if they find the 3rd, I'd call that a little lucky, right? Pretty much any top deck is pretty good. Especially if we can ping right past any chump blockers that they set up. It's going to be Liliana. They take some pain damage here, down to 7, guys. Holy cow. I think we keep the Vinelasher around. Oh, they go for the discard. They get the Bahamut to the grave. That makes sense. We'll get rid of the Fireglass Mentor, even though that's pretty good here. I'm going to value the Brynhildr for the game a little bit more. Okay, Rockface Village is pretty good. Can actually start with Summon Brynhildr and see if we find Fabled Passage. We probably ignore Liliana for the turn because we have 5 on the board already. Flamecache Gecko. Down to 6. Flamecache Gecko. And Pyromancer. They still have 1 mana open over there, plus the Herd Heirloom too. I guess their Verge isn't tapping for a black source though, so it couldn't have been a cut down. GG opponent. Wow. Let's just make that the first game, huh? Close enough. We're close enough to the first match, right? We're pretty early into the video still. Yeah, Lizard's really doing the thing there. I liked the summon Brynhildr. It's too bad we couldn't see it like a couple turns sooner. That way we could have actually seen like the haste from it do something too. But the being able to pick apart their hand with our top end, that seems really powerful, right? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We gotta be... Okay. Yeah. We keep this. This would be a very weird mulligan, right? So we can keep Burst Lightning open for the first turn. We might wait till turn 3 on the Gecko to see what else we can draw here. Okay. Patience with the Burst Lightning. Laughing Jasper Flint. Really good. Nice. So... I suppose we get Pyromancer down. Yeah, no way to deal damage to the opponent for the Gecko's ability. Other words, that would be pretty good. Like if we actually found one of our 1-drops, for example. Invasion of Urgamon. Okay, this is a scary deck list, guys. Let's see what they put into the grave. Vaultborn Tyrant. Hired Claw, really good. That's really good. Right, so we can start with the swing, have a free Flamecache Gecko, go Hired Claw. I think that's actually going to be our turn 3. 1 second, opponent. I'm thinking, buddy, this is actually very important, especially when next turn they can bring back the Tyrant, thanks to the ramp on the Invasion of Urgamon. Like, we're kind of in danger. So the best setup possible is necessary. I suppose, unfortunately, the best setup looks like Hired Claw before combat, of course, and then just Burst Lightning open. We'll play Fabled Passage too. And wait for the last moment to do some deck thinning here. Alright, opponent, let's see the Zombify, buddy. At least it wasn't a Galta to the grave. At least it was just a Vaultborn Tyrant, right? Alright. A little bit of life gain for the opponent, and Tyrant doesn't have haste, which is good. We have Exile on Betrayal, which is good. They go back up to 17 here. You know, I suppose we could have just played Strategic Betrayal before they brought the Tyrant back, but I don't know about that, honestly. Alright, I think we can safely grab another red source here. Burst Lightning to their face doesn't make too much sense to me. I think we still want to have patience with this. Flamecache Gecko. It's good. I'd love to spam out all these lizards after a swing, but they have a really good block is the problem. And we really don't want that to happen. So it's going to be a really slow turn where we take out the Tyrant. Still get a good swing and still keep the Burst Lightning open. Yeah, I think swinging first, they take out the Hired Claw probably over the Pyromancer. We don't want to lose the Hired Claw. And then Flamecache Gecko into the Strategic Betrayal. Yeah, I'm not 100% certain about that. Alright, still having patience with the Burst Lightning, and I hope that's okay. Vinelasher is really good. Okay. So we start with the swing. See what kind of removal the opponent has packed in. Alright. Down to 9. I forget what kind of board wipe Jund Dinos runs. or Jund Reanimator, whatever we want to call it. You guys don't suppose we're gonna get eaten alive by a board wipe here, right? Right, guys? You know, I'm just going for it, and I'm gonna save the Vinelasher in hand, and that is me playing around the board wipe. Yeah, I think Vinelasher would be a better play than the Laughing Jasper, but that could also be how we reestablish after a board wipe too. They go Bitter Triumph. That probably means no board wipe, but Vaultborn Tyrant number 2 to the grave is pretty scary. 5th mana, Rakdos Joins Up is now available. It's going to be a Rakdos Joins Up at that. Vaultborn Tyrant brings him back up to 10. It's going to be an 8/8 as well, which is pretty scary. 4th mana isn't bad. Puts us one step closer to a kicked Burst Lightning. Yeah, Laughing Jasper. Could have been pretty good, depending on what we saw from the opponent. Like, more generic spot removal, for example, could have been pretty good. We have just a terrific wide swing here. I suppose we could win this turn if we Offspring, right? They don't... Wait, yeah, Offspring, deal an extra 2, then Burst Lightning. Oh, wow, guys. We have 10 damage here, right? See where they block? Iron Claw, take the 6. That's crazy business, man. Vinelasher. Oh, we had 11 damage. We didn't even need the Offspring. Oh, wow, guys. Very nice. Holy cow. Holy cow. All right. Luckily, they missed the Ghalta. For sure. 2 Vaultborn Tyrants, though, they gained 6 life this game. That's significant, to say the least, and they're at -1 now. Right. How do you guys feel about the first turn Patience with the Betrayal actually letting them reanimate the first Tyrant? Might not have been the greatest play, but that did mean that they wasted a Zombify on a creature that we exiled anyways, and there was a chance that they missed a second Reanimator source. Or there's a chance that they missed the first one too, and so just holding back with the Betrayal still makes a little bit of sense, because maybe they pack the grave with more scary things, like maybe they wouldn't have missed Ghalta, for example. Atali probably would have been much more dangerous for us than the Vaultborn Tyrant too. Atali could have hit a Vaultborn Tyrant, for example, then we would have been in a lot of danger. Oh, look at this. Okay, this is probably a mulligan. Right? Guys? Somebody tell me to mulligan. Somebody tell me. Oh no. Okay, no. I'm okay. Yeah. We're going down to 6. I think that would have been possible. Brynhildr sees something off the top we could have found. Like, you know, digging one card deeper could have been finding the black source. Alright, we can keep this. And Cavern calls Lizard, of course. Rockface, Lindblum. I'm going to keep Lindblum. I'm going to send the Mountain. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And I hope that's okay. Call Lizard and be happy about it. Yeah, if we find more mana off the top, I think we'll be really happy that we have the adventure on the Lindblum here. We don't have the black source for a Strategic Betrayal, unfortunately. But it was a good draw other than that. I think they might take this trade, and I think that's actually a pretty good trade for us. I guess it depends what kind of boosts they have in hand. With Gruul colors, it could be a lot of different boosts, huh? Alright, finding a black source for the Strategic Betrayal is going to be pretty ideal. The ideal draw. However, Yeah, even, yeah, finding the third mana in general is going to be pretty decent because we have Lindblum, which is not going to be terrible to get a 0/1 wizard on the board. Okay. Villainous Rage. We've been seeing this Gruul list pop up from time to time, and it's really, really cool, isn't it? Yeah, if they want to take that trade with the Scamp into the Pyromancer, I'm going to let them do it. Totally fine. Down to 14. Yeah, if they want to pop it, pop the Pyromancer, it is what it is. It's a similar concept to just taking the block because the Scamp would have just hit our face instead. Nice. Nice. Thought-Stalker is pretty good. So without the third mana, we still want to get the third mana down. So unfortunately, we weren't able to use the adventure on the mage. Or, yeah, we weren't able to use Mage Siege. But that's okay. Yeah, we still established this. We still go the other Pyromancer for the turn. Oh, we still have a swing too. Yeah, that's something. We can do that as well. Cactuar getting another swing. Given the Cactuar haste is really, really good, isn't it? Picnic Ruiner, nice. Okay. Yep. So down to 11. Ooh, I don't necessarily like that. Okay, Gev is really good. Holy cow. But is that what we do? Thought-Stalker Warlock is probably a better play, but establishing Gev helps us poke through more. All right. I'll start with the swing with the Pyromancer, see if they accept that trade. Okay. Yeah, Picnic Ruiner's ability to get double strike if they have something like Dreadmaw's Ire or something is, of course, super duper deadly. I'm taking the turn for setup, guys, and I hope that's worthwhile because I think Thought-Stalker Warlock was probably the better play. Ooh, don't give it trample, don't give it trample, don't give it trample. Ah, synchronized charge. No. Okay, that's 14 damage rolling on through here. We're at 11, so we are forced to double block. Crap. Ow. My face. So unfortunately, not being able to play Strategic Betrayal, the mana base holding us up here, we get to see, you know, once rotation comes, losing all those important early dual land for Rakdos Lizards is actually going to be pretty tough. So we don't even have a great swing now. And with Synchronized Charge, being able to come back for 2 mana next turn, they go Cactuar, tap Cactuar, Synchronized Charge for the rest of the 2, give the Ruiner trample again. So we're pretty much dead. Best case scenario is finding a black source off the summon Brynhildr, which we could find a swamp. We do not. Okay, that is okay, guys. So we know how they have lethal on the board by doing Synchronized Charge back from the grave. At that point, they just go the other Picnic Ruiner, though, guys. A Wild Ride to the other. Oh, and Cactuar. We survived the turn. Yeah, no trample on these. We totally survived the turn, but at what cost, right? We lose everything. Ah, red source. Okay. Well, and they have no cards to sacrifice here. So even though we got the extra turn, it didn't actually matter, right? Finding the black source to take care of the first Picnic Ruiner would have been much better. Slumbering Cerberus is a great one to tap down for the Synchronized Charge, getting to 1 green mana. Yeah, guys, watch out for this Gruul list. We've been seeing it pop up. It's impressive. And it's really cool, too. Hey, good game, opponent. Good game. Fancy Pants GG. Guys, we're 29 minutes in. We still have 1 or 2 more games before the end. But while I have you here in the middle of the video, make sure you check out the description where we do have the Discord link as well as that Patreon link too if you're interested in joining either of those up or supporting the channel that way. And then also, guys, for the YouTube side of things, if you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And if you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing because it really does help out the channel. So thank you guys. How you guys liking this lizard build so far? I feel like there's a lot of power here. We have to really keep our eye on the mana base though. Yeah, we might want to even go up a couple tapped lands, which to me is pretty sketchy in certain aggro deck lists. I think this is a certain aggro deck list. Even just being slowed down by Fabled Passage early on, like in this hand, for example, can be completely detrimental. Luckily, we go first here. We can try this. Grab a black source on the Fabled Passage. I'll have a little bit of patience here, I suppose. Starting Town. Now, Starting Town's something we can consider for this deck list, guys. It is. All right. Another Vinelasher wouldn't be terrible. But, any of our 2-drops would be pretty good, too. Like, Gev? Wow. That's pretty good, huh? Yeah. Let's get the Gev down. So, Fabled Passage again, slowing us down for our turn 3 if our turn 3 wanted to be a Laughing Jasper or an Offspring. Starting Town would not have slowed us down, so Starting Town maybe should have made the cut as an honorable mention, or maybe we'll talk more about Starting Town in the final thoughts, depending on how often we get punished by our mana base. I could also see Cavern of Souls being... Okay, they go for the throw on the Gev. I can also see Cavern of Souls being a 4 of and dropping Fable down to 2 as well. But if you do that, there might be games where you see your Verge and Cavern and you can't cast your Burst Lightnings, which could be really bad. So Flamecache Gecko is pretty good, but we don't have it for the turn. But next turn, it's probably worthwhile playing just the Vinelasher, skipping the Offspring cost, establishing the Fabled Passage, and we're going to grab another red source off the Fabled Passage here too. Keep Burst Lightning open. With 2 Starting Towns, the opponent helping us poke their face is actually really important here, as everything they play costs a little bit of life. A little bit of life gain though, huh? That's going to be a really, really good Burst Lightning target. We take it out while we can immediately here. You know what we could have done though? We could have let them swing, because there's a chance that they would have wanted to swing with the Sage, but now they don't want to. They probably wouldn't have, but there is still a chance that they could have, you know what I mean? Okay, bring him back down to 14, grab that other red source. Now land off the top would be good. Hired Claw is also pretty good. I like that. I might honestly just play Laughing Jasper Flint though. If we start with the swing, they probably block. They don't want us to poke any through. But if we poke the one through, then we can go Gecko and then the Laughing Jasper. If we go Hired Claw first, we get 1 extra poke too. I think I like Laughing Jasper here. And if we can get the bonus Gecko, then that'll be great. They are going to go ahead and take the 1, which gives us the Gecko and the Laughing Jasper. Really nice. Ooh, except this could be a board wipe style deck list, huh? This could be a Day of Judgment style deck list, which could be really bad. 4th mana. Opponent, don't do it. Oh, okay, it's just a Vengeful Blood Witch. Okay. I mean, I shouldn't say it's just, because that extra life gain's really, really bad for us. Yeah, with Laughing Jasper, so at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top X cards of target opponent's library. We can easily find some spot removal from the opponent, so I think they want to target this immediately. Still got 2 mana open, one of them's a white source. Get Lost is still popping up everywhere. Strategic Betrayal. We probably keep Vinelasher to poke through their chump blockers, so Gecko is the exile here, right? I believe so. Now we're only seeing 2 off the top from the Laughing Jasper, which is pretty good. That's pretty good for the opponent. All right, Elisil Core and Voice of Victory. So until end of turn, you may cast spells from among those cards. Yeah, that's that. Wow, very nice. I guess we play their cards, right? Because it's so much extra value, it's not even funny. GG opponent. If Laughing Jasper sticks around and actually gives you value, I mean, that was essentially like drawing 2 off of a 4/3 3-drop creature, you know? Insane. Guys, I said 1 or 2 more games, but I kind of feel like we should just end on a high note. Because we showcased the deck list beautifully, didn't we? Okay, one more. Win or lose, who the heck cares, huh? It's like I said, we showcased the deck list beautifully. It really did the thing. The biggest thing right now that's holding the deck list up is the mana base. And so we'll talk about that in the final thoughts and see what we can get done. I don't know if I'm actually going to trade anything out. Let's see what this last game looks like. Let's see if the mana base holds us up. If it doesn't, I probably won't change anything. If it holds us up in any significant manner, we might want to do some rearranging. We'll see. We'll think about it. See right here? No Burst Lightning because Double Verge, just a black source. Cavern doesn't power up either of them. Cavern does, however, play the Hired Claw, and it does help us play the Laughing Jasper Flint. 3 Fabled Passages helping us power up Verge, as well as 10 total basics. We give it a shot. Yeah. Now, we also could mulligan here quite successfully. This is one of those ones where I don't think it would be a weird mulligan at all. Hired Claw, hi, buddy. Oh, second Hired Claw is really good. Now, the opponent going first is significant because mono red going first is significant, right? So we're going to have to try our best to keep up pace. Looks like Hired Claw's out of the equation. Luckily, we drew the second one. They swing for 4 total here, down to 16. Come on, red source. It's a Gev. That's actually a really, really good draw. Actually, any of our 2-drop lizards would have been excellent there. One of the worst draws possible in that scenario, that's a 2-drop, would have been Brynhildr because we call it a lizard on the Cavern, so we wouldn't have the red source, which is super sketchy. I mean, we could still see Brynhildr off the top. It's a 4-of in here. Oh, crap, dude. Nemesis. But now they're tapped out, so they don't have good swings on the other creatures. We let the Nemesis get through down to 13. And they could decide to poke extra through. Ow. Hey, there we go. There's one of our basics. Powers up the Verge and no longer being punished. We do have Burst Lightning to pop the Hired Claw if we want. It's probably a better pop than the Swiss Spear right now. Right now in Standard in general, right? Hired Claw is probably a better pop. Laughing Jasper's pretty good. Nemesis still squeezes through though. But we could find more burn. We don't really want more burn. Not when the Nemesis is swinging through every time. Burst Lightning Hired Claw is a pretty good turn. I'm thinking opponent. But the Laughing Jasper, though. Laughing Jasper gets picked up by Lightning Strike pretty effectively. No, it doesn't. Gev's extra counter. That's actually probably worth it then, right? Because it's a 5/4. We have to keep both blockers back for their other creatures and other hasty creatures that they could have in hand. Right? I think so. Emberheart Challenger? Yeah. They still got one mountain open, but they pass it back, guys. They don't even swing with the Screaming Nemesis, which is probably really good news for us. Do find a Burst Lightning from the opponent, which is pretty good. And start with Brynhildr. See what we see off the top here with it. Yeah, by not giving us a swing, though, I get where the opponent's coming from for sure. We do find a Flamecache Gecko. Okay. Okay. Right, so that'll poke 1 through with the Gev. comes down, gives us Rakdos colors. We have their Burst Lightning to pop the Challenger. That's probably pretty good. Oh, and then we can use the Black Source for their Burst Lightning. Honestly, we might just want to hit the opponent's face, but also cleaning up their creatures seems pretty good too. Nice, their one mountain doesn't seem to be anything. So, continue cleaning up. Probably Hired Claw here. Nice! I guess we have good swings, but at the same time, when they held the Nemesis as a blocker, I guess we can see why in this scenario. Now, if we get to keep Brynhildr around, even if they find something to pop our Laughing Jasper Flint, they might still be in significant danger here, as we could give another Laughing Jasper Flint haste off the Brynhildr's Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. Oh! Second Screaming Nemesis is dangerous, though. We need to find one of our Strategic Betrayals, but somehow we have to get rid of the Swift Spear first. They do swing with one of them, keep the other one as a blocker. Dude, we're in danger for real. Screaming Nemesis can really run away with this one. They keep both of them as a blocker, guys. Witchstalker Frenzy, Bolt Wave, that's pretty good. Can play the mana successfully. Bolt Wave their face. Yeah, that's fine. Witchstalker Frenzy for 4 to hit the Swift Spear isn't terrible. We could also go Hired Claw. We could full swing this turn. They clean up our entire board state, though. We can recast Laughing Jasper. Then they hit our face really hard with the Nemesis. You know what, though? You know what? Who the heck cares, right? This is a really fun full swing, and I'm going for it, dude. Or we should maybe... No, yeah, I'm full swinging. Let's see what happens. See what the opponent gets up to here. Let's go ahead, Witchstalker Frenzy. The Swift Spear. Alright, opponent. We still got 2 open for Hired Claw ability, and Gecko ability if we wanted to. And that'll be 5 to our face. But we get this Nemesis off the board. They're at 13. So this is a 10 getting through. And they don't know what's left in our hand. Oh, guys, you know what? Okay, that could actually be pretty good for us, though. Yeah, so we activate Hired Claw's ability. It's an extra 3. But they're down to 5. Let's see where they hit these, because they could take out our creatures as well. We're about to lose the Brynhildr next turn. They don't know we're about to give a good creature haste, though. 5 damage to face, then 3 damage to face. We'd go down to 5 as well. It depends what's in hand, because they could easily win on the backswing then. No, they are going to take the time to clean up our creatures, guys, which is probably best case scenario for us, because that tells us they did not have 5 damage in their hand, right? Which is great news. That means their hand is not looking very aggressive. Or it could just be another Nemesis, too. Emberheart Challenger. It could have been, like, if it was a Burst Lightning, for example, they go ahead and drop the Concede. We see a Burst Lightning off the top here, too, which is actually really, really good. Cool, man. Really cool stuff. Brynhildr pops itself, but we still had the ability. Laughing Jasper was going to come down, get haste. Burst Lightning could have hit their face, too. Really good stuff. Yeah. Now that's ending on a high note, right? Taking out Mono Red and double Screaming Nemesis, too. The full swing was so worth it. That was really cool. All right, guys, let's go over the deck list one more time here. We're 44 minutes into the video. Rotation-proof Lizards, as you guys can see in those matches for sure. The big thing we're losing is the fast land for Rakdos, the early land. Wait, hold on. Let me go double check what Shockland are being reprinted in Edge of Eternities here. Okay, it doesn't look like we're getting the Rakdos Shockland, unfortunately. That's okay. That's okay. Not yet, at least, right? Maybe in the next set. But, or, yeah, no, I don't know what their plan is yet. Because I guess not all the cards, as of recording this, I guess not all of the cards have been spoiled yet. But would they put all the Shocklands in one set? I'm not really sure how they want to do that. Anyways, guys, the mana base. Yeah, that's what was holding us up the most in those games. Outside of the mana base, these synergies are so friggin' beautiful in Lizards, guys. The Lizard synergies are so good, and just it really, like, the aggro player in me is just so happy with how Lizards does their thing. You know what I mean? And I really like Brynhildr in here too. I think it's a great new addition. If you have all 4 of them, try them out in Lizards. If you already have a Lizard build and you haven't tried Brynhildr in it, yeah, definitely try it out. Get back to me, let me know how it goes. How do you guys like the removal in here? Strategic Betrayal and Burst Lightning. I think Burst Lightning makes a lot of sense in Lizards. Just being able to hit the opponent's face when they don't have anything to remove anyways. 2 damage still cleans up quite a bit of things too. And then when you end up flooding out, the kicker cost on this is actually pretty legit and happens way more often than you would ever expect. Yeah, I suppose these could be your removal spells of choice, but be cautious about dropping the Burst Lightning especially. Also, with all the Reanimator we're seeing between the Dino Reanimator, the Yuna Reanimator, we're still seeing Omniscience Reanimator floating about. We're still seeing Mini Reanimator, right? Like Jeskai Mini Reanimator or anything like that, dude. People like bringing big, tough things out of the grave. So make sure you can clean up the grave sometimes. Strategic Betrayal is the perfect way to do that and pick up something on their board state too. So, is there anything else to say? Everything I just pulled out to the side here are the only cards that aren't Lizards. Everything else is a Lizard, so I do think 4 Cavern of Souls would work well. I also like the split between 3 and 3, especially when Fabled Passage works so well with the Vinelasher. Now, powering up the Verge, if you see Rockface Village and Lindblum, of course the Verge doesn't power up, but at that point you might not need the second red source right away anyways, so Verge is just acting as a black source that you probably desperately needed on the board state regardless. Now, 13 total cards in here that power up the Verge between 4 swaps, 6 mountains, and 3 Fabled Passages. The Verge should usually power up successfully, and we got to see that today. Even though it looked like we were potentially going to get punished, right? With 23 total mana, we flooded a little bit, but not really. And a lot of the times, too, you're going to want to see your 4th or 5th mana because you want to do multiple things on the same turn. Maybe the opponent just cleared the board. You're in danger, but you can still reestablish with a Gev and a Thought-Stalker Warlock and take the opponent's second board wipe out of their hand. That is no joke, and that will happen, especially when Gev is a 4 of and the Thought-Stalker is a 4 of, and the opponents are playing plenty of board wipes, you know? For that matter, too, yeah, the Brynhildr haste and everything, we didn't really get to see Chapter 2 and 3 come in handy, but does that matter? No, because eventually it's going to come in handy. We know that. We know that haste will definitely come in handy. Another big thing about Brynhildr in this deck list is there's just other cards the opponents have to prioritize, right? They really need to get rid of that Gev, so Brynhildr probably survives. In that last one, for example, they really needed to hit that Laughing Jasper, so Brynhildr survived, which means next turn we would have had even more haste too, so it's crazy business, man. Yeah, I'm personally not going to change anything with the mana base, but it's like I've been saying the whole video now, the mana base is a little sketchy losing all those early Rakdos lands to rotation, so keep your eye on it. Maybe add a couple dual land. For the Verge, you could go a couple of the Surveil land. Yes, they're going to slow you down, but at least you're going to be mana fixed, right? So, and honestly, as far as deck lists slowing down, I do think Lizards can perform well into the mid game. There's a little bit of sustainability here, right? But overall, you're still an aggro deck list. You need to clean it up as soon as possible, especially before the opponent gets some big life gain hits from like big old chunky life gain creatures, for example. Like once Vel'Gavoth hits the board, you're in danger, bro. Thank goodness Strategic Betrayal also gets around Vel'Gavoth ward and everything too, right? But that's if it's the only creature. All right, guys, enough rambling. Let me know what you thought of the deck list down in the comments. I'm sticking to it. I actually think it's pretty good. I like this. Yeah, big hits to the mana base, but maybe more testing required for the mana base is what we should actually land on here. And being rotation proof too, I've been showcasing this. I don't know if I have to. What I've been doing to build rotation proof is I go to alchemy, then I click format legal, and then I go back to standard. And then you can see it just, it's a little bit faster than clicking on the 5 things that are actually rotating here. But also, if you're ever concerned that you didn't actually build it rotation proof, you could just build it in alchemy and not use any of the alchemy cards, since alchemy already rotated, right? So you can see nothing's glowing red here as it does when it wants to yell at you when it doesn't fit the format, right? So yeah, that's that. Now, actually, enough rambling, huh? You made it this far in, for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I see you in the next video.